You are Locked On Clippers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hello and welcome. What is up? Welcome to the Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. We, of course, come on right after the game and break it down for you. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Clippers with a character building nail biter of a win on a back-to-back, 4 in a row now to get to 6-4, 105-103 against the Raptors, the only team in the NBA without a win on the road. They are now 2-8. But this was a nice one, although bumpy and ugly and disjointed and janky. It felt at times like they were comfortable and never worried, and then all of a sudden they would fall behind, not fall behind, but let the Raptors back into the game. And we'll talk tonight about why we think Norm Powell is the go-to guy for this team, in spite of being, gassed tonight. And he wasn't the only one, but we'll get into Norm Powell's game tonight, which, he's been leading the Clippers tonight. Not quite that guy, but showed up, performed, and helped them gut out this win. Actually, I'm very mistaken here. I apologize. I was swayed by some of the bad plays from Norm Powell. I apologize. Norm Powell did lead the way for the Clippers. That makes his performance tonight even more amazing, along with James Harden's performance, who had 24 points. Also a pretty surprising point production from him. Quite amazing with the night that he had from the floor, going 5 of 17. We'll also get into why the D deserved the game ball tonight here on the Locked On Clippers Postcast, and a couple of guys that showed up tonight that we haven't seen a lot of lately that really stepped up tonight, I guess, based on the fact that some of the other guys retired, trying to get a little rest for some of the starters, some guys that stepped into the spotlight tonight and showed up. 105-103, the final tonight for the Clippers, and one that came right down to the final seconds. We thought that Terrence Mann had a huge block right there at the very end. Turned out it was just a super solid D, and just him being active and playing hard, which he always does. And we haven't seen a lot of him late in the games lately. He's kind of gets in there, plays hard for a little bit, comes back, sporadically, but you don't see him at the end of the game, and consequently his numbers are down. They were again tonight, finishing going 2 of 5, 0 for 1 from 3 with 4 points, but 1 block and 1 near block. Again, Norman Powell and James Harden leading the way for the Clippers. Before the game, they got into Harden and Zoo working well on the pocket pass, which seems to be something they use a lot in the beginning of the game. Harden to Zoo, and then he'll just get like an easy layup and easy points to get the game started, to get the Clippers off on the right foot, which I like to see. It's like a comfortable way of getting into the game. But Chris Jackson did a really nice job of breaking down what has been coming from that play, what's been working off of that, which I really like to see, that the Harden to Zoo pass has drawn the defense in, and quite frequently on a double team. And then Zoo has been kicking it to the wing or to the corner or whoever's open, quite frequently unguarded. And it's been working really well. So didn't see a ton of that tonight, but obviously it's something that they're capable of doing and something they have been doing and obviously will continue to do. Norm Powell got started pretty hot, but in the end, 3 threes, 7 of 14 from the floor, 7 of 9 from the line for 24 points. James Harden, what a weird night. I mean, one of the things that I put on the notes for tonight was it would be nice, and I think a little comforting, to see James Harden get off to a good start. Start hot in the beginning of the game, as opposed to working into the game, it taking him the whole half to get kind of rolling. And I don't know what that is. You have to give James Harden a lot of credit for missing as many shots as he did. 5 of 17, missed a ton of shots, 12 shots he missed, but still finished with 24 points because he was 12 of 13 from the line. And I called him Chris Jackson. I apologize. Jim Jackson also talked about something with James Harden that he has noticed, like I have, that Harden, and he was very careful to say, sometimes I've noticed, on occasion, not wanting to offend James Harden. And I feel the same way because Harden is still a very, very good, effective, functional, productive NBA basketball player, but 35 years old is starting to show. You can see that he just doesn't have that first step, and it a lot of times gets him into positions where he has to kick or figure out a way to draw the foul, which obviously he did very effectively tonight. Again, 12 of 13 from the line, but another double-double, 24 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. But you can tell, again, I agree with Jim Jackson that on occasion, probably more frequently than we're used to, that James Harden's first step is not fast enough. Or Jackson's assertion was that he uses so much effort to get past the first guy that he's kind of a little out of gas, out of energy by the time he gets to the paint and trying to get to the lane, and doesn't have enough to elevate, or he seems like he's anchored to the ground, or he gets off a bad look, or has to try to figure out a way to draw the foul, which he does. So that's him just being a smart basketball player. And even though at times it just looks bad, it's functional. It is effective. It's like in baseball, a guy that gets on base a lot, but doesn't hit a lot of home runs, right? He's not a home run hitter. James Harden, you could say, if you want to say the 3 ball is a home run, he is a home run hitter, but not nearly as effectively as he used to be. So this would be the home run hitter now becoming an on-base percentage sort of guy. Something I guess we would assume that Shohei Ohtani will do as his career goes on, because he's clearly capable of getting on base with base hits. He doesn't need to hit home runs. He could be on base percentage guy if he wanted to. And his on base percentage is obviously very effective, very good, puts up good numbers in all the categories. And James Harden usually does the same, but lately, especially on a back-to-back, obviously he was tired as well. 2 of 8 tonight from the beyond the arc, but got it done in other ways. And you have to give him a round of applause for that. Ivica Zubac had a big first half, 10 points, 10 rebounds, and then finished the night with 14. So 4 in the second half and only 2 rebounds. Again, I feel like all of these guys were tired. Further proof that Norm Powell was tired, who again led the way with 24, which again, I wasn't keeping that close to track of his point total on the box score. Surprised by that. I thought he would be like 18 or 19. So, the guy's a hard worker. Even when you think he's down 7 of 14, we're used to Norm Powell being like 9 of 12, 9 of 11. 7 of 14 is a pretty off night for him, but he got it done. He made a bunch of defensive plays, made the baskets, 7 of 9 from the line, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc, including a very, very big bucket at the 2-minute mark, which we'll get to here in the bucket list. But further proof that he was tired, he nearly airballed a free throw late in the game. It was like, come on, we need that free throw. And he almost missed everything. So, but, in the end, Norm Powell is, to me right now, the go-to guy on this team for the Clippers. The Clippers now against the Raptors, who, by the way, again, winless on the road, the only team in the NBA that hasn't won on the road. The Clippers against the Raptors, 9 of their last 11. So dominating there, and that's nice to see. 105-103. I wouldn't call it a dominant win, a gutty character-building win, though, which was good for them. They got into a tough spot late in the game. The Raptors never went down. They kept clawing. They kept the Raptors kept clawing. They kept grinding, playing hard, got back into the game, tied it a few times down the stretch. But the Clippers with some big rebounds, some nice defense. Got it done. Squeaked it out. 105-103. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. The place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. When we come back, we're going to talk about why the D deserved the game ball tonight, and also get into the bucket list. All right, tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers Postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. And if you don't know what a live bet is, it's a bet that you make right in the middle of the game. When you see a trend or you get a hunch, you feel like, hey, I know this team. I know what happens next because this is what my team does all the time. You got to get in on the live bet action. Take care of that hunch. You can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Take a ride. Take advantage of your knowledge and follow those hunches. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Tonight's show also brought to you by Skims. If you feel like you are lacking some style in your underwear game, your chones, as they are called in Espanol, check out Skims. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. So get your underwear game, ratchet it up, get it to the next level, and not only does it look good for your significant other or your whoever you happen to be running around in your underwear with, they're also more comfortable. So when you're by yourself, you just experience more comfort, and that's never a bad thing. So if you're looking for the perfect gifts for the whole family, Skims just launched their biggest holiday shop ever, also available at skims.com. Clippers 4 in a row. Daniel says, yo, what's up, Daniel? Nice win for the Clippers tonight. 105-103. Felt like at times it should have been considerably more dominant. As I mentioned, plenty of times the Clippers pulled out to double-digit leads, and then you turn around and it's back to 5 or 4. And then the Clippers pulled it back out again. 14, I believe, was their biggest lead of the night. But some of the other guys that jumped in on the action tonight, we start on the bucket list with Chris Dunn. He picked the pocket of somebody on the Raptors and finished with a dunk right at the end of the first. That made it 28-22 Clippers. Nick Batum, we see Nick Batum played yesterday in Sacramento, didn't score any points. So for him to get on the board tonight to the tune of 7, going 3 of 5, hitting a 3, 17 minutes, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks. I mean, it was a really nice game. For number 4 on the bucket list tonight, Batum, a 3, got a nice pass from Norm at the 7:15 mark of the second. For number 3, Porter Jr. hit 2 threes. Again, another guy that we don't see a ton of, got some extra minutes tonight, probably because people were tired on a back-to-back. 22 for Kevin Porter Jr., 5 of 9, perfect from beyond the arc, and 3 of 6 from the free throw line, finishing with 15 points. Nice left-handed fadeaway shot that was falling for him, but his threes came at the 7:15 mark. That of the second, that made it 36-31, and then not far beyond that, right after at the 6:40 mark of the second, another 3 to make it 42-31. So he had it rolling there in the second, back-to-back threes. For number 2, Harden finally hit a 3. That was at the 10-second mark of the third to make it an 11-point lead for the Clippers, 79-68. And for number 1 on tonight's bucket list, Norm Powell hit a 3 right at the 2-minute mark to get the Clippers to the 100-point plateau, 195. But the Raptors didn't go away. They kept coming. They did they get it to tied? I don't think they did, but they were tied right there in the final minutes of the fourth quarter. They had it at 95 apiece. And then it was 199 after Boucher made a 2-pointer, and then Clippers kind of salted it away from there. James Harden made a driving, floating jump shot, as it is described in the play-by-play. So, yeah, he was clearly a little tired, as they all were. But when it mattered most in the final minute of the game, made a big bucket. Actually, no, the Raptors did tie it at 102. Norm Powell made some free throws, missed the first one. That was the one I was talking about that he almost airballed. Made the second one to give the Clippers a 1-point lead. Harden then got to the line, missed a free throw. You're just like, come on. Can't you guys close the door on this? But one of the good things that we see a lot, one of these plays in basketball, that when a team is in this particular position and they don't make this play, you're screaming at the television. Up 3 with a foul, and you don't foul the guy to send him to the line. Clippers did. They sent him to the line. Whoever it was made the first free throw, and then missed the second one. Jacob Podol or Poelty, or whatever his name is, made the first one and then intentionally missed the second one, but the Clippers got the rebound, and that would be pretty much the end of the game. Zubats pulled it down, and they win at 105-103. So, when it mattered most, when it got tight, the Clippers, battened down the hatches, if you will, and took care of business. But the thing about James Harden, and I think this is why we saw a lot of these other guys playing more minutes than we're used to, is James Harden just looks slow. But I think you could give credit to the Clipper coaching staff, to Ty Lue, for saying, look, I understand we're on a back-to-back. They got home late last night. It was just Sacramento, but the game, it was started at 7, game's over at 10:30. I thought I heard them say they got home at midnight, which is a little surprising. Doesn't even seem possible. It is only an hour flight, but you got to get from the arena to the airplane and so forth. Maybe, but if you get off the plane in LA at midnight, by the time you get home, wherever you live, probably by the time you wind down, it's 1:30, 2 o'clock. And then, you get up and have your day and off to the arena. I mean, these guys show up at the arena at 3, 4 o'clock. So yeah, it makes sense that they were a little tired and played like it. But Ty Lue did a nice job of spelling some of these guys. Although Norm played 35 minutes, James Harden played 34 minutes, Zoo played 38. Derek Jones Jr. only 19 minutes with 4 points, 1 bucket, including a couple of free throws. So that's his 4. And as we mentioned, Terrence Mann, just 4. So Zubac, 7 of 12. Didn't go to the line tonight at all, but had 12 rebounds and 14 points. And Norm Powell, along with James Harden, leading the way, 7 of 14, 3 of 6, 7 of 9 from the line, 24 points. And Norm Powell with 1 block. Batum, as I said, 2 blocks. Kevin Jones, Kai Jones. So many Joneses. I'm still trying to get comfortable on the new Clippers. We got Jones Jr. and Jones and Porter Jr. So 2 juniors and 2 Joneses. He had 4 minutes on the floor, no points, but Amir Coffey, 23 minutes, 2 of 6, just 1 3. So that meant we didn't have to hear a ton of coffee puns from Brian Seaman. Another guy that I really liked tonight, as I mentioned, was number 5 on the bucket list, Chris Dunn, 20 minutes, 3 of 3, hit a 3, 7 points. And, he's an experienced dude, 30 years old, been around the league, been up and down. He's a guy that's been playing in leagues below the NBA. I know he was in the G League for a minute with the Clippers team. So he obviously appreciates the opportunity to be back at the top level, but he's got experience, and you can tell that when he's on the floor, he has the ability to run the offense at the point. when James Harden is resting. As I've mentioned a couple of times before, he's a big part of that B team for the Clippers that come in usually late in the first or early in the second. With Batum as part of that group, usually see Kai Jones in there, Amir Coffey, Dunn, and Porter Jr. All of those guys. That's basically their bench squad. But tonight it was more towards the, they got them on the floor a little bit earlier, late in the first quarter, and Terrence Mann was mixed in there, as was James Harden. And so it wasn't just the entire B team out there. They had a nice job of mixing it up, but those guys stepped up, and that was really nice to see. So 105-103, nice win again, 4 in a row for the Clippers. They're now 6-4 as the Western Conference continues to dominate the Eastern Conference. When we come back from the break, we're gonna just talk briefly about the standings and how much better the Western Conference is this far into the season than the Eastern Conference. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers Postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 DFS sports app. That's daily fantasy sports. It's the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players from 2 teams for a shot to win up to 100 times your money. You can run your game all season long on Prize Picks, and it's every sport is available on there, and sports that you didn't even know you could wager on are available on there. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You got to pick the Red Demons to get the big winnings. They're harder to hit. I'm more of a Green Goblin fan. They're a little bit easier to hit, but I always feel like winning is so much better than losing. Prize Picks puts their members first. So with all withdrawals, they're fast, safe, and secure. When your picks hit, you can get paid in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks now offers when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25%. You provide you with more value. So download the app today, or you can just go to prizepicks.com and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks.com, LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 bet. Prize Picks, run your game. Well, the Clippers ran their game tonight. At times, it was a little ugly. At times, it was a little messy. There was quite frequently just a severe lack of ball movement, and that was keyed a lot of times by James Harden. Just, I'm going to dribble here at the point, and I'm going to try to find a lane and try to make something happen. And more often than not, he missed 12 shots. It didn't work out, but he had 24 because he's a gritty player. And got to the line a lot, 13 times, made 12 of his 13 points. From a defensive perspective, as I mentioned, why the Clippers D deserves the game ball is they have continued, as far as I'm concerned, the calling card for this Clipper team right now is their defense. They have just ratcheted it up so much, closing down lanes, passing the ball hard, getting into the paint for the opponents very, very difficult. Van Gundy is the real deal and is already paying dividends. So their defense was once again spectacular. And I don't think they win this game if their defense isn't as good as it was and has been. So you have to tip your cap to the defense. Not always exciting, not always fun. It's like saying the offensive line did a great job, in football. But the defense for this team is fantastic. As I mentioned going into the break, the Western Conference is just dominating the Eastern Conference when they face off against each other. The Raptors that they played tonight are now 2-8, have not won a game on the road. Sixers, who we beat a couple of nights ago, are 1-7. There are two teams in the Eastern Conference that are over 500. One of them is undefeated. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 11-0. Wow. The champs, Boston, is 8-2. And from there, everyone is 500 or worse. Knicks are 4-4. Hornets are 4-5. Pacers are 4-5. And you got a whole bunch of teams that are 4-6. Pistons, Bulls, Magic, Nets, and then the Heat are 3-5. On the other side of that coin, the Suns are leading the West. Although Kevin Durant's going to miss 2 weeks. Did you guys hear that? That's unfortunate for them. Good for the Clippers. They're 8-1. The Thunder, who everyone are confident, including Brian Seaman and Jim Jackson, are confident they're going to win the West. By the way, that's the Clippers' next opponent. I believe it's on Monday because they're getting on a plane either tonight or first thing in the morning to fly off to Oklahoma City for that game. I know they're off tomorrow. Those guys are 8-1, undefeated at home, as are the Suns. Warriors are off to a good start, 7-2. Then you got the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, both 6-3. Memphis 6-4. Clippers, Lakers also. Lakers are 5-4. Clippers 6-4. And then Houston and Dallas 5-4 as well. Clippers also have back-to-back games against the Rockets, I believe, on Wednesday and Friday. So going to be a tough week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. At least they don't have any back-to-backs. But nice job on defense. If they keep playing defense the way they have been, everything will be just fine. As far as tonight's defense, a little bit more specifically, we can get into the rebound stat, because that was a big thing tonight that I appreciated in this win for the Clippers. Also, has to be mentioned, you can't overlook the fact that the Raptors just had a poor night shooting the ball. They finished 42%. At the end of the first half, it was 39% when the Clippers shot 47%. The end of the night for the Clippers, a little better at 46%. But as far as the rebounding battle, the Clippers came out on top there, 47 rebounds, not by much, 44 rebounds for the Raptors, but the Clippers did a really nice job on the boards tonight and didn't turn over the ball all that much. Wasn't a great stat, 12, but that's for them. That's pretty good. We're used to seeing 17, 18 from them. They didn't do, this is a little surprising because their defense was on point tonight, I thought, but only turned over the Raptors 10 times. As far as block shots, Clippers won that battle 8-5. So a solid defensive performance tonight, in spite of being on a back-to-back. 105-103, 4 in a row now for the Clippers. They're 6-4, 3-4 at Intuit Dome, and the Raptors 2-8. Again, 105-103, the final. Off tomorrow, but we have football. We'll be doing Chargers-Titans. That's a 1:00 game here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. So I'll catch you guys after that game. And then back for Clippers basketball on Monday. Sharita says, nerve-wracking win. It's a fair point. At times I was feeling that. I'm like, are they going to screw around and lose this game? But two things about this game were not nerve-wracking for me. It's early in the season, it's game 10. And I just feel like the Clippers have a different sense of confidence this year when games get tight. And a lot of that has to do with the defense, but a win nonetheless. Nice to see. Again, 4 in a row. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Have a good night. We'll catch you tomorrow after the Chargers. And then again, Monday after Clippers Thunder right here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Have a good night. Take care.